Hello, world. This is Chuck Gudgel, and it's a historic day here in the United States of America. Um, President Joe Biden has decided to abandon his run for the United States president, which is historic in a big way because it's not often that happens, and because the polls indicate that the hateful right um, has a good chance of winning with lifelong criminal sociopath Donald Trump and convicted felon and draft dodger as well as a liar. Looking at some of the stats on Donald today, he's told over 33,000 lies when he was in office, and so on. My phone's still blowing up from earlier today about President Biden's decision. I was sitting here thinking about it. My friend Logan's dad up in Utah, St. George, Utah, formerly of Emmett, Idaho, a very good friend of mine and a captain in the United States Army. He retired captain who was an Army Ranger and all that. He didn't have any bone spurs, nor did his kids. They've all served as well, except for Logan, who's a brittle type 1 diabetic. Anyway, long story short, Dave told me when I was texting back and forth with him today that he would support a ticket with Obama and Harris, Mrs. Harris. I would concur. I think that would be a winning ticket, and it'd be historic. It'd be a black man who served well before and has a history of reducing our deficit and having a booming economy and providing health care to millions of people like me. And Biden has a history of helping people like me. I was disabled from a stroke on my left side here, and there's no way I can afford to pay off my student loans. So President Biden discharged those. There's a program called Total and Permanent Disability, and so all my student loans have been discharged. Which I'm not a mooch, but I assure you that I paid lots and lots of taxes because I made well over $100,000 a year. And it was in the mid six figures income. Anyway, all that being said, like I said, I would support Biden. Here's personally what I just sent a message to President Biden about, and of course it's all automated and the response comes back immediately. I just sent him a message. You know what? You want to keep Trump out of office? It would be wise for you just to go ahead and resign because otherwise, you're just lame because they know you're not going to run again anyway. So by all practical purposes, he's a lame duck president at this moment by his own decision making. And Trump, he's sworn to us that he's going to do all these Hitler tactics, which I find very scary. Religion in our schools, public school funds used to support religion, 10 Commandments in our schools, an attack on reproductive rights, attack on health care, increasing taxes on the middle class to support the lowered taxes on the very rich. And Trump, he'll say whatever he can to get his rich buddies to get him in office. But rich buddies, a lot of times the rich people don't have any ethics at all. That's how they got rich in the first place. And Trump's father was a bootlegger who had no regard for the law as well. And we are a nation of laws. Trump, his daddy interfered so that he could keep him out of the military with the so-called bone spurs logic. But here's a question I ask you to think before you go to the voting ballot in November. We do not need we don't need a Hitler in the United States. Trump has sworn that he's gonna, and he did some strategic moves before he left office with the Supreme Court, and that's why, Roe versus Wade was revoked. The post office is a mess because he put DeJoy or DeMay in there. DeMay, I think is his name. And changed the postmaster, and he sat on his pants with COVID, and he ridiculed the doctors that actually knew their stuff. And so we need to figure out a way to prevent our democracy from. And as well, while I'm not going on about Trump, he incited an insurrection. I watched it live on TV, and I was sitting there laying in bed watching it on the morning it happened. And when they attacked the Capitol at Donald's direction, I called John up. I said, John, the trucks Trumpsters are attacking the Capitol building, which was true, of course, as we all know now. And so, anyway, we got to get, you know, and I know this is terrible to say, but it's kind of too bad that somebody didn't put Trump out of his misery. And he himself is a hypocrite because he would be the oldest presidential nominee in history. So just a few fact checks, and you'll want to go to a reputable news source like the Washington Post or the New York Times for more, or CNN for more. CNN is very, very reputable and has been for many, many years. So that's all I have today on this Sunday night, the 21st of July, 2024. I'm Chuck Gudgel from Legacy 34 Apartments in Grand Island, Nebraska. That's all. See you later. Have a great weekend and a good week. Bye-bye.